Welcome to Will Podcast for Laughs. On this episode, we talk about the Disney live-action remake of The Lion King. Taylor talks about his Sucky Movie Saturdays with his best friend, and we talk about our worst movies we've ever seen. It's all today on Will Podcast for Laughs. Hello and welcome back to another fantabulous week of Will Podcast for Laughs with myself, Taylor.
V.
And Ian.
And hello everybody to our Twitch viewers, twitch.tv/Will Podcast for Laughs, and anybody tuning in via our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Check out our website. We'll link it all in the doobly-doo. Shout out to Wizzy Weeder. And yeah, so today we're going to be talking, segueing from last Friday. We let the blood pressure drop over the weekend. But we're going to be going ahead and moving on and talking about live-action
They're like, that
Disney
smoothie's
movies.
been in the same spot for a whole week.
We're gonna go just straight into it. So
Yep.
let me go ahead and just search this up real quick. Live action Disney movies. So tell me why you like them. By the
Because
way,
it's Disney and it's magical, Taylor. That's why.
so this is in release.
Because I don't hate humanity.
I enjoyed The Jungle Book. Thought it was pretty decent. It was definitely different, but I enjoyed it. Thought it was
You know
cool.
what? I think it's
What it was.
because, like, okay, I never saw The Jungle Book. Okay,
The
I never
original?
saw the cartoon, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I watched the live action.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back and watched The Jungle Book. Everyone's like, you haven't seen The Jungle Book? You have to. So I went back and watched it.
Yeah.
And I feel like they added a lot of more things in there. They added different songs.
They changed
added,
some
like,
parts with like the snake and all that.
And I think that for being an adult, sometimes it's nice that it's like a Disney story, but it's like a grown-up version.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. So I think it's kind of exciting
I feel that.
to have a live action because, I don't know, it makes us justified that we like Disney still and we're grown adults.
So question for you then:
Yes.
The Jungle Book,
Yes.
was that the first live action Disney remake of The Jungle Book?
I don't know. That's the only one I saw.
So, believe it or not, on December 25th, 1994, The Jungle Book was released. It was a remake of the cartoon from 1967, and that was the first of the live-action cartoon remakes. You also have 101 Dalmatians, which surprisingly, I did not know this, was written by John Hughes.
Interesting.
I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is?
You don't know John Hughes?
No.
Okay, hold
I
on.
know Howard Hughes. Thank you.
John Hughes. Let's see here. Excuse me. 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club,
I've never seen
Weird
that.
Science, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Never seen any.
None of this is ringing a bell
You've
with
never
you.
seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Home Alone.
Or The Breakfast Club?
Never seen Home Alone.
Christmas
Home
Vacation.
Never seen
Alone?
Christmas Vacation.
Beethoven.
No.
There's a couple on there that I'm like, you've never seen. and
No,
I'm
but I've
like,
never
what?
seen any of those.
Wow. Okay, well, those are just a few of his films. Fantastic filmmaker.
Yeah, no,
Probably
they're-
one of the most notable
They're
ones.
pretty classics. I've heard a lot of all of them.
But he wrote the 101 Dalmatians movie that came out in 96, believe it or
I've
not.
seen that. Way back when I was a kid.
And then what could be considered modern era came out in 2010. What was the first live-action Disney remake?
The one you just said.
Well, of the modern era. If anything,
Oh.
the era that we're currently
Wasn't it
in.
Beauty and the
Disney.
Beast?
No. And I actually thought it was Cinderella, but believe it or not, it was Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, yeah, I
Tim
remember
Burton,
that.
Alice in
I
I'm
forgot
not an
about that.
Alice in Wonderland fan. I don't like the tripping on mushrooms thing. No, thank you.
And they can technically say that this was one, but in July 14th, 2010, a sequence from Fantasia was produced into a feature-length film. Can you guess what it was?
Maleficent. Was that what it was?
No, it was the
Love this.
Nicolas Cage film, The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Oh yeah, forgot about that too.
Didn't see that either.
But in The Sorcerer's Apprentice is Mickey Mouse,
Okay.
where he's like,
With all the brooms.
yeah. But interesting enough, supposedly, that is the Nicolas Cage movie.
Okay.
And then Maleficent, May 30th, 2014. Although I really
That
would
one
not
I've
say
seen.
that. I mean, I love that one. I wouldn't
Okay.
say that's a remake per se
No,
of
not
Sleeping
really.
Beauty. It's more I think
Like
a
a
good take at the villain because the villain is not the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, it does go back to, yes, there are some people that quote the Dark Knight that just want to see the world burn.
Well,
but there's a lot of people where the bad guy is not really the bad guy.
I heard that they're going back through and they're going to redo all of the Disney's from the villain's perspective. Like they're going to do Little Mermaid from Ursula's perspective, and they're going to do like the storylines of the evil characters of the villains. And I think that's kind of cool because it gives us a different. I mean, Disney's just making more money. That's what's happening here. But I think it's kind of a breath of fresh air. Yeah, because think about it. Like I grew up with all these Disney movies. It's starting to get old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these are the things, and they're trying to like revamp them, and I give them props for doing that. But so tell us, why is it you don't like live action?
Well,
what's your hold up about it?
What I don't like about it, and I will say a lot of what I'm throwing out here can be summed up very well by I Hate Everything. Another YouTuber, I'm going to throw that out there, great guy. He did a whole video about why he hates these live-action Disney remakes, and I was like, this man's taking the words right out of my mouth. They really lack a lot of the soul and character that made these movies dear to our hearts. I think, if anything, what they are is entertainment to just shut the kids up for 2 hours. And
you don't think that there's still like artisticness behind it?
No. There is a cheap dollar size behind it. When you look at Disney, like in 2018, believe it or not.
But you're also talking about a different type of movie. You're talking about a cartoon versus live action. Those are two complete. It's easier to have make believe and that feeling in a cartoon than it is in live action. Don't you think? Like you're forgetting that it's not like they're just redoing the cartoons. They're literally trying to bring them to life, and that's a difficult thing to accomplish.
Yeah.
I felt like it was still true to the story, and you still walked away like Beauty and the Beast. They had a lot of they added in a lot more character. They had different songs. I still felt the same emotions, and I don't think they're made for kids. I don't think they're trying to make them for kids. I don't know any kids that are like, "Oh, can you please take me to Beauty and the Beast live action?" No, like I don't think that's their audience. I think their audience is like those of us that are older that grew up with the cartoon that are now adults and don't want to be caught in a cartoon.
Well, I would definitely agree with Taylor in the sense that they effectively what they're doing is rehashing all this old stuff in a, I wouldn't say a cheaper way, but in a way that appeals to people like you said of our generation and maybe even people older than us. And really, it's just to make money off something that effectively died a long time ago monetarily. But
I don't think it could definitely be more creative and come up with a whole new story.
I have no problem with stuff like Maleficent, and I want to see. I have not seen it yet, but Christopher Robin.
I've heard that's
like that looks like a good. I think a good take on Winnie the Pooh, where it's like the adult Christopher Robin. Yeah. I am totally 100% fine because they're also making new stories.
Yeah, they're not redoing.
They're not literally just. They're not literally just rehashing it.
It's like that kid in high school when they were like, "Can I like read your paper?" And then they took your paper and they changed like one word. That didn't happen to you guys. Just me.
Sorry.
It's the laziness.
Nobody ever thought that my work would be good enough to plagiarize.
I get it. It's the laziness, or just you as a student taking an old paper and just changing like the thesis maybe and just a few words here and there. So it is very similar to the originals in the sense that like there's not a lot of effort going into the plot, the storyline. I get that, but for what it is. It's still
and the CG is pretty impressive in some of them. Like the Jungle Book,
Jungle
was impressive.
Book was
CG.
amazing.
That was really great. I mean, those animals looked real, and there wasn't a single real animal in the entire movie. And I mean, the vast majority of them looked amazing. You know.
But I mean, I think Lion King.
I think there's benefits and downsides to the live action thing. Like you said, it takes some of the soul out of it, but at the same time, it's an impressive thing to see like a remake like that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to throw it out there to anybody that may be listening to this from the Disney company itself. If you are working on the film, if you are an animator, animating these animals, if you are a sound guy, if you are the cinematographer, I'm not at all holding any of you responsible for this. I understand that. I mean, this is what you do. Yeah. Your passion is filmmaking, and you're doing this to make money. So I don't blame it on you. I do blame it on, if anything, the higher ups over at Disney,
the producers,
who, like I said, are just doing this because, oh look, I can do this and make money. It prints money. They don't need to like get the rights to the story.
Yeah.
Because already, when they made them in the animated versions, they were already public domain.
Right.
So they're literally just chucking out stories.
And you bring up a good point. I think similar to that, going off of that, I was a theater kid, and I think that a lot of the times, like, one of my favorite things are musicals. I love musicals, and I love musicals because, well, I love theater in general, but musicals because I like singing. But I think sometimes you forget about all the stuff going on behind the stage. There's so much going on back there, from the costumes to the design to the set design to the sound to the actual tech people to the buildings to the, like, all of that. Like, me and my girlfriend, we were head of, like, props and sets, and we literally stayed after school for hours painting these backdrops for these plays in high school. Yeah. So I can't imagine, like, the lengths of work these people go to produce movies and, you know, to put all this stuff together.
I'm sure it's huge. Yeah,
it's huge. It's like their whole, you know, their whole lives around this. And I think that, like, there's something to say for that, because we all just go to the movies and we're like, I wasn't entertained. Like, okay, well, this caused so many millions of people, like, time away from their families, and, you know, like, that's their job. So I think the movies we have nowadays compared to, like, I took a film class 2 semesters ago, and you look at, like, movies like Bonnie and Clyde from, like, the 50s, and you're like, dang, how did they do, like, bullet wounds? They had to literally, like, put actual, you know, paint or whatever on them to create that, or all the different shots that they did. They didn't have all the technology we have now. So movies themselves, I freaking love movies. I love, like, feeling like I'm in a different world. 3D, IMAX, all about it. Thank you. I want to feel like I'm being in it and I'm being shot at.
Those are the movies to see Star Wars in.
No, I'm not seeing Star Wars.
IMAX 3D. No, I'm not seeing Star Wars.
It's too realistic. It's too realistic. So, you have something else you want to say, Taylor?
Well,
Taylor's having a hard time, guys. It's okay.
Well, the GIF I sent you guys earlier, where it's Simon Pegg in Hot Fuzz. He also did it in Spaced, but in Hot Fuzz, he's watching a play of I think it was like Hamlet or something.
Hot Fuzz is a great movie.
It's either Hamlet or Macbeth on stage.
Mm-hmm.
No, excuse me, it was Romeo and Juliet. There was a stage person, and he's just watching it, and his face just like.
Yeah.
I feel like if you drag me to see Lion King, like, that's exactly what I'm gonna do, because my child is just gonna scream, because, like, if anything, now when it comes to Lion King, I feel personally like attacked.
Oh.
Like,
oh,
like, you don't understand.
Taylor.
Like, Lion King is one of my favorite movies. The 1994 Lion King.
Yeah.
It is near and dear to my heart, and Disney, if anything, up to this point, maybe doing other people's near and dear heart movies, but it's just sort of like the old thing where it's just like, oh, well, it ain't me. But now that it's gotten to me, I'm just like, this is crap. Like, we need to take a stand against this, because you watch, like, I'm watching it right now, the official teaser trailer,
Fight the power.
and the fact that it's just shot for shot, like, there's no innovation, there's no creativity, there's nothing. They're giving me nothing new here.
They're bringing it to life.
They're not bringing it to life. If anything, again, going back to IHE, like right here, Rafiki, he just walked up onto Pride Rock here.
That's what.
You don't see anything on his face. He's got no emotion. How can you tell what he's thinking?
He's a monkey.
He's not a monkey.
It's okay.
Hey, guess what? You're a monkey.
It's okay. I think you should give it a shot. Wait for it to come out. See what you feel then. But we all know.
It doesn't matter either way. We're making you go see it.
Red box. Maybe. But
Redbox.
Not theaters.
I have terrible stories about Redbox. Whenever I go to Redbox, so Dev and I see a lot of movies, and we go to Redbox, I'm like, we're going to pick something without reading the description. And we're going to pick something that we've never heard of. Like, not the mainstream movies, like those low budget. Sure. Every time I pick something from Redbox, it is awful. Like, so badly put together, where you're like, did they have $10 and they did it in their garage? Like, what's going on here? Every single time. It's so bad. But it's fun. Go to Redbox, pick something you know, because it's $1. You know, it's not a waste. Like, pick the ones you don't know, and then sit there and go, what is this?
All right.
That's what I do.
Then let me tell you, two movies then that are Redboxed. So my best friend and I, we were out of high school. Mm-hmm. We didn't have jobs yet, so we could just piss away the whole day and it would not matter. But we didn't have much money, so Redbox were their dollar rentals. Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And we would explicitly go out to rent the crappiest movie we could find at Redbox.
As you should. That's what Redbox is for.
And so we did Sucky Movie Saturdays.
Oh, yes.
And I would love to bring that back with him one day. Maybe do a podcast of him doing that. And what we do is we watch the movies and we make fun of them while we're watching them. Sort of like a Mystery Science Theater 3000, but it's just us and we're laughing our asses out the whole time. The best one to come out of that was a movie. So you guys remember the movie Battle L.A.?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, I remember. I never saw it, but I
Was it about a
remember
battle
hearing about it.
in L.A.?
No. So it was a really, really terrible movie that came out in 2000. Was it 2011? I thought it was 2010. But it was called Battle Los Angeles, and it starred the Two-Face from Dark Knight
Oh, I know what you're talking
and
about.
Michelle Rodriguez.
I don't know his name. But
Yeah,
I know what you're
but
talking about.
the movie was just okay. The visuals were okay. The movie was okay, but have you ever heard of those movies from like Asylum or Magnet, where they're sort of like riding on the tail of the success, the big blockbuster?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So there was a movie called Battle of. Battle of, I believe is what it was. I don't want to give you guys. Yeah, Battle of Los Angeles. So Battle of Los Angeles was released by The Asylum, and it starred. Do you guys remember a '90s television series called Keenan and Kel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it starred Kel Mitchell.
No.
You don't understand. Great movie. For how miserable it is, it's good. It is the ultimate in so bad it's good.
Yeah?
Yes, there is a scene where Kel gets out of the Humvee and starts shooting at a UFO with a blatant, obvious silver painted Nerf gun.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Battle of Los Angeles. I will sing you guys Kel Mitchell Nerf gun. Here, let's see if I can find it for you guys. All right, if I find it, I'll send it to you. I'm not going to waste this much time on it. But it is just, it is so beautifully terrible.
It's so bad that it's artistically bad.
It's artistically bad. It is the best terrible movie I've ever
The
seen.
best, most terrible movie.
Yes. And the other movie that was really, really good, actually, no, not really, really good, really, really bad, probably the worst one, was Evil Bong 3.
What are these movies, Taylor? Oh
So,
my gosh.
Evil Bong 3, believe
You
it or
have too
not,
much time on your hands.
it is a full franchise. So, Evil, let me pull up the Evil Bong franchise. How many movies?
No one knows any of this
How
stuff.
many movies is it in now?
Have you ever seen
Oh my
Life
God.
Size with Tyra Banks? That's amazing.
I'm not.
Or Mean Girls 2.
So,
Also amazing.
we have, in this order, Evil Bong, Evil Bong 2, King Bong, Evil Bong 3D, The Wrath of Bong, which is how my best friend and I got introduced to the franchise. Then you have Gingerbread Man versus Evil Bong. Then you have Evil Bong 420, Evil Bong High Five, Evil Bong 666, and then Evil Bong 777. And that was the most recent release. And I'm assuming, without
Way too
having
much
seen the
time on it.
film, if that Evil Bong 777 was probably done here in Vegas.
Maybe. That makes sense. You know what movie was done here in Vegas that my family was actually in? Do you ever remember seeing Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
Yeah.
Or Honey, I Blew Up the Baby? Or whatever, that whole thing.
Yeah.
So they did one of those here in Vegas, and the baby like walks across the strip or whatever, like the giant baby. Well, my parents were asked to be the extras that run a part of the group across.
Oh, that's cool.
I know, so they're famous. No big deal.
So they're famous. No big deal.
Yep. If anyone wants to, give them a shout out.
What? You seem like you're having a
I'm
realization.
watching the trailer. So it was published on April 18th, 2018 to YouTube for Evil Bong 777. And by the way, the tagline for this film, not the tagline, there's a brief description, the log line. Band drags his merry band of misfits to Sin City and the strip will never be the same.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we're still the same.
But
okay.
the basic plot of the film, of Eagle Bong 3, is that this alien species, they need human male reproductive syrup.
Syrup. Oh my god.
And so,
What are we even talking about?
And so
oh my god.
they use this like these suckers to drain the males of the reproductive syrup.
Just so you guys know, this is like episode 6. We've been doing this for like 3 hours. How we got on the topic of male reproductive syrup?
Just that phrasing.
We're gonna bring it back, guys. I promise. Stick with us. It'll be okay.
We're at a 5-minute mark.
I'm sorry that you're listening to this on your Monday morning at the beginning of your work week.
Just
Taylor
remember
is
those
also
words:
sorry.
male reproductive syrup.
Okay.
Hey, I'm bringing the laughs. I'm
Too far.
I'm,
It's too much.
I'm definitely trying my best here.
Oh my
So there. So now we've dedicated an entire episode to terrible movies. What was your favorite terrible movie?
Human Centipede.
Oh god, that was bad. But also bad in like upsetting.
That was
sense,
one
too.
of the movies that it kind of got passed around as like a prank, right? Like if you got told the good thing about that movie is that people won't tell you what it is ahead of time. They're like, you have to go see Human
you
Centipede.
get a pretty clear picture in your head of what.
Nope, I didn't. I was like, okay, that sounds great, and then I watched
Okay,
it
that sounds
with
great.
my mother.
Oh
my
god.
Yeah. Here's my question about Human Centipede for anyone who has seen it. There's a scene where they are already all connected.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
I've
haven't
seen
seen
it.
it,
I've
I'm just
seen it.
not going to tell you what is connected. You can figure it out yourself when you see it. And there's 3 of them, and they're all on top of a counter, okay? And it's like towards the end of the movie. Do you remember this scene?
Yeah. Yes.
And then they cut away from that scene because someone's coming into the place. They cut back to the centipede, the human one, and they're on the floor. Here's my question. How?
Painfully.
How do 3 people who are connected from their gluteus maximus to their not gluteus maximus
The opposite.
move from a table to the floor? Those are my questions. That's the worst movie I've ever seen. Human Centipede, for sure. They did make a second one.
Yeah.
I've also seen that one.
Was it good?
No.
Well, I mean, like
you hated the first one. Why'd you watch the second?
Because it's like a car crash. I couldn't look away.
it's pretty bad. Honestly, I didn't think I would ever want to watch it. One day my friend was like, dude, let's
And you know
watch it. I
what?
was
Even
like,
when you're
oh,
watching
okay,
Human
sure.
Centipede, you get where it's going, and some part of you is like, we should turn this off.
There's
but you
no
don't.
reason to watch this. I know how it's going to end, but you sit there and watch the whole
And you
movie,
get
and then you
into
feel
it.
really bad afterwards.
And then you tell someone else. It's awful.
And then you get fears of getting abducted by scary German scientists.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
I also got to give a shout out to Piranha 3D. That was a miserable shit show.
Oh, I heard it was. I heard it was bad.
I feel really bad because Christopher Lloyd was in it, and I love Christopher Lloyd.
Oh,
It's just like, what? Like what favors does he owe? What pictures do people have of him that he's doing Piranha 3D? By the way, I just sent you guys in the chat. It's a clip from Battle of Los Angeles, and if you go to 42 seconds in, you can see the silver painted Nerf gun from that movie, and I love it. It's art. You can't top this. You cannot top Kel Mitchell with a silver painted Nerf gun at all. And
Okay.
Oh my god.
So we've given our listeners a whole list of things to watch and thank us for later. You're welcome.
That is a silver painted Nerf gun too. That's funny.
What about yourself? What was your worst movie you've ever seen?
Oh god, worst movie I've ever seen. I don't know. I've seen a lot of bad movies.
Scary movie. 1, 2, 3,
Hey,
4, 5.
hey. 1 and
Four-
2
four I'll
are-
agree with.
4 I'll agree with. 3 was okay. 1 and 2 were exceptional.
Exceptional.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Exceptional.
Yeah.
3 was
Great,
okay.
Great stupid
Men in
teenager
Black
movies.
1 and 2.
Decent.
Decent. Good. Great. Wonderful.
I don't know how Thor's gonna be
Did you
able
see
to
the
hold this.
Yeah, and what
Life size.
have you seen
2.
Westworld? The chicken, it's also the chick from Westworld and all that stuff. And
Oh no, I have not seen. I want to see it. We just
Chicken
purchased
Little.
part of Black Friday sale. We purchased Westworld on DVD, so can't wait.
it's a great show. Great show. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
All
to
right,
everyone,
guys.
ever.
Wait, so what was your worst one?
I couldn't tell you honestly. I'm not sure. I'm thinking.
It's Life
trying to
Size 2
think.
with Tyra Banks.
Look, anybody can
It was
like.
bad.
I'm trying to think here, but I don't watch bad movies.
There you go. That's a good
You don't go out of your
idea.
way like myself to
No.
torture yourself with terrible films.
No,
gotta
occasionally
go
I
to
catch
Redbox.
one that happens to be pretty bad, but not.
What
Yeah.
about like what were those ones where they're like in the mountains and it's like the humans that eat them? The hills.
The Hills Have
The
Eyes.
Hills of Eyes.
Oh, that was the scariest
Those
movie.
That's
are-
scary.
Those are
but-
scary.
Because there's-
Look, no, I was
That's
still a
scary.
kid.
Yeah,
and
I saw it when I was a
that
kid
sh-
too.
that
Chucky
shit
and Chucky's
fucking-
Bride
That's
and all
not
that
scary.
stuff. Those are kind of awful.
Yeah. There's a couple Stephen King movies that have been pretty goddamn bad.
What about Borat?
Like Children of the Corn. Borat's cool.
It's cool. All right, we tried. Ian just likes all movies. It's
I'm an easygoing dude.
okay.
And I
Also-
don't go out of my way to watch movies that are notably bad.
Well,
By the way, I just want to bring this up real quick before we do wrap this episode up. Asylum Studios in Los Angeles, California, they have produced 10 movies. Are you ready for this list of films?
yes.
Alien vs. Hunter,
Okay.
I heard about that.
The Terminators,
The Terminators.
11, 11, 11. Saw that one. Not good. 200 miles per hour. Simple. Almighty Thor. Battle of Los Angeles. Great. 2012 Ice Age. Because I guess they were just like, how do we take The Day After Tomorrow and 2012 and
I
combine them?
love The Day After Tomorrow.
20,
That was a great movie.
2010 Moby Dick.
2010 Moby Dick.
Yes. In which it is described literally, and I'm quoting, a modern adaptation of the classic novel of the captain of a high-tech submarine and his obsessive quest to destroy the enormous prehistoric whale, but enormous prehistoric is one word, that maimed him.
That's the title?
No, that's the description.
Oh,
But no,
jeez.
we're getting to the best. Here's the last two: Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus,
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
The
one.
Meg was a good movie, by the way.
Was it?
Yes. Go on.
and my favorite of this list. I have not seen this, but now this is on my list of movies I gotta see before I die. Nazis at the Center of the Earth.
Oh my god.
Nazis at the
That
center of the-
sounds delightful.
All right, guys, send us your best worst movies you've ever seen. I'm
Yes,
sure
please.
Taylor will watch all of them, and then
Minus
And
life.
then we'll have an episode where we come in and he just rates them all.
send us your favorite movies, the things that you're most excited about, the best ones you've seen, because
Yeah, we can do that
Taylor
next.
will also rank those.
With us.
Life Size 2, Tyra Banks.
Shout out to Tyra Banks.
All right, guys.
Well, that sounds like good for us.
That's
So
it
thanks
for our
tuning
Monday.
in.
Yep.
Yeah. Hope you guys are having a great week. Thanks for coming back to see us or hear us. And yeah.
Nice talking to you.
May the Schwartz be with you.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Okay, go Netflix, Human Centipede. You're welcome.
Stay amazing.